What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers are gearing up and preparing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the big focus is obviously Anthony Edwards. He is their engine. He is their guy. He is their superstar. He's the guy that's capable of going off for 50 and beating you. He's an incredible talent, future Laker. I'm really excited to see him and Luka in the future. But in all seriousness, right, like he's a guy that you need to really prep for. If Lakers can contain Anthony Edwards, play Rudy Gobert off the court, they're probably going to win. Right? So trust the Lakers to get this done. I trust the Lakers to, do what's necessary to figure this out and show up. But, they need to practice and rep and prepare. And, who's defending Anthony Edwards, and if you get switched, what do you do here? And here's all the spots, and you're seeing the reports of, Bronny James and Shake Milton, being the kind of the decoys, being the Anthony Edwards stand-in, right? Which all teams do. Ben Simmons right now is the Jokic stand-in, right? Because you need to get some reps. You need to practice. Okay, this are the spots. Obviously, those guys aren't as good as those players, but it's just to kind of gear up, build the reps, get the understanding and the grasp. But one of the biggest factors in this series is probably going to be Jared Vanderbilt. He's familiar with the team. He used to be on the team, right? Has a little bit of an edge to him. Wants to get a little bit of a lick back, right? He's one of the best, if not the best perimeter guys in the league. His hustle, his effort, his energy. Obviously, offensively, can be a little bit of a liability. He does impact the game offensively in other ways, right? Just, being an off-ball threat, slasher, backdoor cutter, being in the dunker spot at times, but also through, creating turnovers, both live ball and just regular turnovers, getting offensive rebounds. That guy's rebounding like crazy lately. All those things give the Lakers more opportunities on the offensive side of things to generate more offense to help. So he does help both sides of the basketball, just not in the traditional sense offensively. But J.J. Redick and Jared Vanderbilt have apparently, based on reports, talked very heavily about the Anthony Edwards matchup. And supposedly J.J.'s going to potentially really lean into Jared Vanderbilt for that. Something that I've talked about with Jared Vanderbilt in the past, even from like the moment he got back from injury, is that I look at him more as an assignment guy. He's not a guy that I expect to get, 30, 35 minutes a night. He's a guy that you're looking for, 16 minutes a game, 4 minutes a quarter, right? Something like that, or 3 minutes a quarter, right? So 12 minutes a game. He's a guy that you're looking to just come in, exert all his energy in those moments. See Anthony Edwards? Your only job is to slow him down. You're never going to stop Anthony Edwards, but there's big differences, right? Like Anthony Edwards dropping 30 on 25 shots is a big difference than Anthony Edwards dropping 30 on 12 shots. Right? Like that can also be the difference between you winning or losing games because yes, Anthony Edwards got 30, but it was on less efficiency. Other guys didn't get opportunities because he had to take more shots, right? Like it just, those little things can be the difference between you winning a game or two or several or a series, right? So Jared Vanderbilt, I look at it as a guy that's going to come in and just be laser focused. Right? You saw it in the, in the previous go around in 2023, where Ja Morant, Steph Curry, right? He's supposed to defend Jamal Murray. He ended up getting played off the court in the Denver series. But there's also differences too now, though. One, Lakers just have better offense, right? You got Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. That helps. And you can go out with guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Rui Hachimura, and if these guys can continue to hit shots, right? Like, they're in good shape. But you also have other guys that you can throw at these guys now, right? Where we didn't really have very many, like, defensive pieces then, right? Like, so you're not so reliant on Jared Vanderbilt to where you need him to play 30 minutes a night. Now you don't need him to play 30 minutes a night. So you're not worried about him getting played off the court because he's going to be huge. He's going to be a huge factor. He's going to be incredibly important for the success of this team. He's going to be the dirty work. He's going to, get rebound and create steals and turnovers and just do the hustle plays and again can be the difference maker, especially when series just get so tight and decided by some of these key moments, right? These little nuanced moments that you're not even privy to. Like, those things can be the things that are the difference in a game or a series. Look at Denver with the Aaron Gordon rebound, offensive rebound, kick out to Michael Porter Jr. They end up winning that game, and it changed the series, right? So, but you're not so, like, those minutes you need fewer than you did in like 2023. So I see a lot of people that are like, oh, he got played off the court before, he's going to get played off the court again. You're not worried about that. Like, right? Like Minnesota, for example, Rudy Gobert. If he gets played off the court, that hurts them more than if Jared Vanderbilt gets played off the court, because we're not looking for Jared Vanderbilt to play 30, 35 minutes and be our defensive anchor on the interior and be our primary offensive rebound guy and be X, Y, and Z, right? We're just, we're looking for Jared Vanderbilt, again, to be that assignment guy, right? So him in this season, in this go-around, is not as bad as it was in that previous year. We didn't really have anyone else, right? You had like Schroeder, but like you didn't have the guys you needed. Where now you have Doe. Right? You have Dorian Finney-Smith. You have Gabe Vincent, right? You have, Gabe Vincent doesn't have size, but he's just another body you can throw at him, right? You can throw LeBron on him if need be. Austin Reeves at times if need be, right? Like you have several guys that you can just keep throwing at him to try to work him and slow him down. Jordan Goodwin is another guy that can just be a pest and just keep pounding him and just get on him, right? And you start wearing him down over the course of a series. Anthony Edwards is one guy. He's going to play 40 plus minutes a night, right? Can you slow and wear him down over X amount of games? And the best way to do it, great example was won the championship in 2020. Part of the game plan and scheme against Jokic was wearing him down, right? You threw JaVale McGee at him. You threw, Dwight Howard at him. You threw Anthony Davis at him. Right? At times, you had Markieff and all these. So like you had multiple bodies to throw at him, multiple bodies to just keep wearing on. Jokic is just one guy, right? So you're constantly having fresh legs on him. He's working you might not notice it game 1, 2, but as we start getting to game 3, 4, 5, right? Like, hopefully it doesn't go beyond that, but you start getting to 6, 7, by then, guys are so gassed. Anthony Edwards is, he's starting to huff and puff a little more. You're starting to see the cracks in the armor a little more. And, it's just like, hey, let's keep sending that onslaught. But I do think Jared Vanderbilt is going to be the biggest piece amongst all of those defending him, because he is the best defender and he has the size, the length, the physicality, the foot speed, right? He has familiarity, right? He has the revenge and that little edge factor that you want, because, he'd love to send his old team home. He'd love, hey, man, you guys should have believed in me, right? Like, so, I really like Jared Vanderbilt in this matchup, and it makes sense that JJ would be looking to Vando as like, hey, man, we really need you to be just, again, laser focused, locked down, however many minutes you play. We need you out there. And we've seen games where Jared Vanderbilt was so good, you couldn't take him off the floor. That I could absolutely see that happening in basically any series where Jared Vanderbilt's he's doing the dirty work, he's doing the hustle plays, he's doing all these things. Right? Like to where, it really, again, at the end of the day, it boils down to guys hitting shots, guys making the big plays, guys, doing the dirty work and hustling and all that stuff. Right? If Rui and Doe and Gabe and all these guys, if they're hitting shots, then it makes Vando being out there less of a liability. Yes, Vando got played off the court in the 2023 season, right? But, D'Angelo Russell was unplayable, right? Rui disappeared, right? Like you had multiple guys that really, Lonnie Walker wasn't able to replicate what he did in that Golden State series, right? Like you had a very different scenario. You didn't have the offense to carry and work and do the things necessary to kind of better balance out Jared Vanderbilt. Well, now you do. Now you have Dorian Finney-Smith who can knock down the 3-ball with consistency. Gabe Vincent has been shooting much better recently, right? You have Rui Hachimura that's shooting well. Hopefully he doesn't fold in the playoffs, right? Like you have LeBron and Luka and Reeves and all these guys to where now you have just the better balance to where now you can kind of ride Jared Vanderbilt a little more. And you can get away with a little more. And again, you have other guys that if for whatever reason, it's not quite working the way you need it to, and you need to pull Jared Vanderbilt off the floor, you can, because you have other defenders, you have other pieces, you have other players that you can now throw out there to, yes, they might not be as good defensively, but they can still wear them down. And it's like, okay, Vando, next game we got you again. And he goes out there again and he does it again. And just, you're not as in a rock and a hard place with him as you were a couple seasons ago. Obviously last year we didn't get to see him, right? So Lakers are just in a much better situation this year in this go around from a team standpoint to just, personnel standpoint to everything, right? And Minnesota isn't this super elite offense that's just, knocking down 33s a game and all that, right? Lakers will be in good shape in that regard. So they're not going to have as many worries on the offensive end. And you have guys like Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves that can generate a lot of that offense. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel what are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.